Welcome back to Trigun Stampede Anime Review episode number 2. This will be the second episode of the series known as The Running Man. I'm sure the episode is a nod to this old Schwarzenegger movie, The Running Man. It's called that because, of course, Vash spends half the episode running around the place. Though with gorgeous cam work, I at least got praised the episode for that. So the episode story-wise starts off with Vash detailing about Million Knives. Of course, Danny should believe him because, evil twin brother thing. Okay. Excuse me. It's like, let's poke fun of the classic evil twin brother trope. Like, it wasn't me, it was my evil twin brother. Yep, that was simply the reason for it. I'm like, really? Yes, really. That is literally what happens with that. And then of course you have this kid who shows off his bugs, they'll refer to as worms for some reason. Yes. Now, his mother, who was the owner of the bar they're in, refers to them as worms. And usually worms, these things about this thing, these look like freaking bugs. Like, why they would look like that, I have no idea. Really, Meryl doesn't like bugs, and after the kid chooses to leave, and then all of a sudden, Ebrosi pulls out a freaking machine gun. And points a gun at of course, Vash. Why? Because of the bounty on his head. Yes, the bounty. So he spends the first portion of the episode, run away, run. And of course, great cam work. Got the camera turned upside down. It's just really good. This whole sequence lasts about 5 minutes. We have Meryl and Roberto help him out, and eventually they kind of get out of town. But while they're talking, by the way, before I continue here, while they're talking, we hear that the Nebraska brand family has broken out of prison. Now you might be curious though, were they in the original anime? Yes, they were, except they were actually hired goons. Here, they're escaped convicts for reasons. And just composed the father and son duo. The father, aside from the fact it's the same attire, in the original series, he was partially bald. Here, he's got a full head of hair. Son is mostly the same as was the original series. And, of course, they drive around this vehicle, which I don't think they had in the original series. Not that I remember, no. So, they basically take it. Of course, the guy gets killed. And, of course, they want to run over Vash, who has been taken captive. Well, he's being killed captive by Rosia and her two of the people there. And of course, they want to execute him. And then, of course, their son's about to run over, but Vash saves him. And then Vash basically drives away the Nebraska family. And then, of course, their vehicle breaks down. Then, of course, they said, they have my ultimate idea. Take the plant. You think, wait, take the plant? Well, they say the plant, but it's actually just part of the plant as a treasure hopping thing. Of course, Vash, while this is going on, Vash is called out for his cowardness, which is a trait of his, that he tends to run away a lot, which is true. It's something that they poke fun of this in the second episode of the series, and they also mention about him, why don't you bring out your gun, shoot them? That's a very interesting question. He's like, because bullets are expensive. I wonder if that is basically the people who wrote the script for this episode insulting rising inflation. I would not be surprised about that. The fact that Vash would do that. That Vash would say that. I don't think it's Johnny Bosch who wrote that dialogue because he's never been credited writing any dialogue I can think of. But I think in the case of this episode, I think this episode was wrote by somebody who really wanted to insult the rise of inflation. And insult the fact that stuff is expensive now because of stupid people in Congress. Moving on. So, they try to steal the plant, basically this giant tube. Like, we can't have it without they don't show them stealing it. They just got it out of there. Somehow, that's not really explained. Then Vash basically chases them. And by the way, in case you're curious though, he takes out his gun once the whole episode. Well, first, the father of Nebraska fires his basically his bazooka, which causes damage to the bridge they're on. And eventually, I think it collapsed. But luckily, his son basically is able to save the plant. And they kind of change their ways. Yeah. And it's all about dialogue, about saving people. And eventually, they're able to turn save ways. Despite the fact the same guy had just earlier tried to accidentally run over this woman's son. She would forgive him, no problem. And they drink. And then, of course, basically, Vash politely leaves. We see these spider bots. Yes, spider bots with cubes on top of them. And Roberta's saying, leaving out saying goodbye. And then all of a sudden they hear a scream. It's from Meryl. When these bots, several of them go on Gazov. That's the guy's name. And Roberta words, that's lost technology. And then an explosion happens in the episode. Oh, by the way, do they show the plant back in? No, they don't show it at all. It's like, it's back on the other side, and implied they may have reinstalled it by basically during a cut moment from the episode. I'm kind of like watching this episode, and I'm like, what? Why the heck they bring that up? Yeah, I have this. Now, the first episode, I thought the first episode was really good. This episode, I'm like, what? What? It's like, really? Why'd you bring that up for? I mean, beautiful animation. The voice acting is really good. The camera work is really good. It's some of the dialogue and some of the stupid moments of this episode that really bring it down. Like the whole thing with the plant. The plant is one giant building with stuff inside of it. They say they stole the plant. That means you stole the thing that basically, well, of course this is one of two. They stole the blue one, not the red one. I don't know. Maybe sub was changed from the sub to dub. My guess is there was, because there's probably a lot more dialogue here because, well, it's like, they take it, they don't show how they moved it, they just remove it, and then they put it back off screen. Like, what the heck? Yeah, seriously, what the heck? Now, the specific I don't like some of this episode, I think Johnny Bosch does a great job. It's some of the dialogue I don't like. Like, saying stuff is expensive. Yeah. But yeah, not much else to say this episode. It's interesting. But like I said, I've had problems with it, so let's just move on from that. Okay, so that's the episode of You. Next episode will be Comic Corn. It's probably going to be a free videos night, so now I thought I was to do Change Man today. That's not going to happen because I wanted to basically finish this anime up. So, since I just finished up today, Trigun Stampede and Walking the School American, I'm now down to 3 anime, which is Case Closed, Doton with Nagaro, and Izar into Girls Dungeon. Yep, just 3 left. 1 from Saturday and 2 from Sunday. Like, really? Yeah, really. Only 3 left. Which, it's got finished up tomorrow. Now, you might be curious, though. When is going to be a new anime review that's new that comes out during the week? I have no idea. It will depend on what comes up, okay? So next video is going to be Comic Corn, and that'll be it for today, okay? Next video. Bye.